The 2005 film Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I find this to be quite entertaining. It was the first time that I had ever watched this, and even 20 years later, this still holds up pretty well in my opinion. So the story of this one, it stars John and Jane Smith. They meet each other, they fall in love, they get married, and eventually they are surprised to learn that both of them are assassins assigned to kill each other. I really do like this film. There is so much I liked about it. The acting, the action scenes, the music. And I also like the tone of this film. Like, love comes in many forms. For these two assassins, when they find out who they really are, it's about trying to one-up themselves. They try to take themselves out, but they realize they can't do it. And not only that, but I really do find this to be one of the interesting films that director Doug Liman had worked on. And while I find this to be one of the weaker movies from his filmography, at least in my opinion, it's not a dumpster fire. Overall, while this does suffer from issues with the story and some of the characters, at least it's still entertaining to watch. The chemistry between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie is why this movie works so well. We all know the story of both of these two celebrities. They met on set, they fell in love, and it really shows in their performance. Now, John and Jane Smith, they are interesting characters. Not only are they assassins, they really do love each other. What I did like is the action scenes. They're nice to look at. And even this film has some comedy to it, with a lot of it coming from Vince Vaughn. I did like his character, Eddie. I just wish he showed up more, especially in the third act. I mean, why even have him show up early in? You're not going to have him in the conflict, the third act of this film. And when it comes to Kerry Washington's character, I felt like she was underutilized. Didn't have that large overall. And I'll say the same thing about Keith David. Like, he's never shown in the movie. You hear his voice, but I really wish he had shown up and had a significant role here. I wouldn't say this is one of the best action movies of the 2000s. I mean, it's fine for what it is. It's just in the third act, there isn't a main villain. That's what this film suffers from. There's not an antagonist to challenge both John and Jane. It's just them shooting up bad guys at the end, and well, it feels anticlimactic because had there been a main villain, then we would have learned from their motivations. And of course, John and Jane just team up at the end fighting this big bad threat. At the end of the day, I had quite a fun time with this. And while it may not be perfect, it certainly is worthwhile in the long run, in my opinion. I'm giving this film a 6 out of 10. To be honest, I find this to be a subpar action movie. Don't get me wrong, I like it. In fact, the cinematography is nicely done, and so is the music. It's just, there's too many flaws in the story that I can't overlook. It's still somewhat entertaining, but if it wasn't for the chemistry between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, this would have probably been quite forgetful. The story is alright. The problem is, as well, it doesn't really stand out compared to other summer movies that came out that year. Though I'm sure there are fans of this movie out there, it's just for me personally, I can't get much out of it. Anyway, I don't know what else to say about this. It is interesting for what it is, but at the same time, I really felt like this really could have been something special. And that's my review of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.